Scrappy Kathy here, and before I start my Freeze Friday video on Sunday, I need to show you the embarrassing mess that my table is. And the reason I'm doing that before I set the camera up into its holder, and the mess extends over to my little side cabinet here and my tub of sequins and a few stamps and other things. This is what it looks like after I've begged off of doing dinner for last night. Let me get this situated up here. Okay, we'll assume that that's good. Anyway, this is what happens when I don't do dinner and I don't have to clear the table. And when I'm in a race to try to bolster my team's chances in a team challenge that's been going on today, about an hour ago, ended a 7-week challenge at Mind the Scrap called the Summer Scrap Challenge, and it's a team challenge, and each week a different team sets the rules, and so you get points for, it's kind of like a grab 5 every week, and you get a point for every one of the 5 that you grab. And so this past week was monochrome week, and if you know me, you know that's not easy for me. That's not my wheel. And if I do monochrome layouts, I do them with accent colors. So I did a blue layout a couple weeks ago, and I did a couple pops of orange and a couple pops of pink. That was not allowed. So we had to pick one color. Like in this one, it was red, and you could add black and white as the accents. So I'm going to go backwards. There are 29 of them, so it could be a long video if I spent a lot of time talking about them. The virtue of the last couple of days of this is that I have photos printed and I have layout ideas in my head, and I go through them quickly and don't over embellish because I can't, because the colors are limited. And so there's not a whole lot to describe, so I get more minimalist as the week progressed. So this is the last one. This is the one of the 2 that I did this morning. It's called Baby Gardener, and the reason I had to do it is because this photo came up in my memories. I've scrapped it before, but I ran it through a filter to make it black and white, but it's a filter called Daryl Farrell in the Prisma application, and it makes it black and white, but it highlights anything that's red or a warm color. It turns it to red. So I knew I wanted to do red because I had all those scraps on my desk. I kind of got started, and from the time I started to the time I ended, I didn't go get anything else. So everything that I scrapped with was already on my desk. So anyway, that's layout number 29. Layout number 28 is this one. I'd never seen this photo before, and it came up in my son's Facebook memories. And I have a 3 here. I'm going to have to carefully remove that and put a 2 there because she was 2, not 3, when that photo was taken. This is Christina's 4313 layout design, and I ruffle the edges, and it's obviously an orange page. This is a yellow one. There are no videos for those 2. There is a video for this one. This was my Scrap Squad Sunday excuse me, layout that went live at midnight, or just after midnight today. And the original was this one, and I had to make it monochrome, so I stamped Vicky Bouton florals on either this yellow lemon Bella Boulevard pattern paper or or this vellum. I used some, anyway, you can find out about it in the video. I'm not going to belabor it because I've already explained it. This one is a photo that I took at the canopy walk at the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, and you can kind of see how huge these things were. It was an art installation, and these are the people, little tiny people on this bridge. There's this kind of a sky bridge that you walk across that gets you up into the canopies of so many of the trees that are there, and it's beautiful looking down at the rest of the garden. So it was a beautiful addition they did a few years back. This is obviously a green page. It's called Jungle Love. That's a walk that we took through a beautiful jungle in Nadi, Fiji. It was part of the Garden of the Sleeping Giant. This is a purple page. This picture of the kids came up. A lot of pictures are kind of, I guess, impressing me with their significance. It's 10 years ago today. These were the kids. He just turned 16. Katie's 18, getting ready to go to college. Allie starts college. It's also 18. Crazy. This one's called Garden Art, and I have scrapped this photo before, a different filter of it. I ran it through about 5 filters and printed all of them, and I think I used 2 on my first page, so I have this one and 2 others left, and they'll show up on pages for challenges. So I used my brand new alphas from Paige Evans' collection, Go the Scenic Route. This one, on a video that I made, and I'll show you the video. I lost. Well, during the video, I went to cut this. This is an acetate overlay. I think it's by Bella Boulevard, and I put it in my trimmer, and it slid. The trimmer is shiny and slick, and this is shiny and slick. It slid off and onto the floor, and I have dark floors, and it just didn't show up. I just couldn't see where it was. So I skipped it on that layout, and when I found it, I almost tripped on it, by the way. When I found it, I thought, okay, that's going on a layout, that's going on a page today. And I had this photo of my son when he was it's a school picture at a kind of a magnet pre-K type environment that he was in. I think he was between 3 and 4. And I just love this photo because it belies the little mischievous rat that he was at the time. It makes you think, what a precious, sweet little boy. And he was, but he also, headaches galore with that kid. But he's amazing, an amazing man, an amazing dad. And this is his son who just turned 16, and this was not about his birthday. This is about football coming up, and he's a sophomore. He started as a freshman, but the team did really badly, so his reputation out he was one of the top-ranked middle school players, and we're hoping that he gets back some of that. I say glory because I'm his grandmother. For him, that's not what it's about. It's about getting the team its reputation back. So anyway, this is about his birthday. That's his dad taking a picture of him with the tart that he chose instead of a cake. And this is the rest of the family. This was one of the meals that we ate upstairs in James's kitchen at his kitchen table. And he ordered the food, and we're all sitting there with our gourmet food, and Ava's trying to cover her face because she doesn't like her photos taken. And we had sports on the television in the background there. This is a green page about Katie driving off with Ava in the car. She's right after they'd gotten back from Macon, where she got her driver's license. She immediately packed up Ava and the dog, Ava and Reese went and she spent the night with Allie and Ava at Allie and at their mom's house. And so she's off in the little Prius, and this is John waving goodbye to them. So the title of that is And She's Off. And here is the story of the tart. That these are dies, and this little page thingy here. These are dies. These 3 come in the same set from Bramble Fox. Their dies are new. I think they just had them out. I think this is the 3rd monthly issue of them, and they are amazing. And these things were the Resist sprays. I used 2 different reds here. One is Postbox and the other's Cherry Pie, but they kind of ended up about the same. You can see a little bit oranger red here and a more cherry red here. But I like that page. And I wanted to do a page called That Smile. And I knew I had a big acrylic plastic smile. It's one of those things that's supposed to go in a signboard. And I just clipped the backs, the little pegs off the back that fit it in the signboard. And I put glue there, glue dots where those little pegs were, and that's how I glue it on. So I knew I had one of those. I thought it was teal, and I was going to make a teal page, but it was hot pink. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with a pink page because Barrett likes pink. He's a guy who wears pink. And I thought, I love the smile. I told him that all I wanted for his birthday was a smile. And so I'd just given him a nice gift. So he's smiling here. And then I did a close-up and I filtered it so that you could see the detail in his hair and kind of the chiseled face there, his handsome visage. And this is the outside of an arrow that I obviously punched through, and I thought it would make, I put it up on foam and made it sort of like a cut file that I filled with sequins. I had fun with this page. I used a Bramble Fox perspective for the camera, and this is a Bramble Fox perspective for the heart, and all kinds of different shades of pink. And this is all kinds of different shades of purple. It's Katie driving off or arriving at the place where she took her driver's test. This was before she knew whether or not she'd passed. And this is one of those resist tags that came in the Mind the Scrap kit. And I sprayed it with the purple Heidi Swapp Color Shine ink and added all kinds of different shades of purple. And this purple twine kind of wound through it. Whoops, I lost my leaves. Oh, and of course that's why I didn't take the backing. I must have just been kind of fitting them in there. Okay, there we go. And this is one that I do have a video for. It was part of the school-themed hop that Sarah Scraps does every year, and I was thrilled to be part of it this year. I was on day 3. There were 4 days, 40 videos, and so if you get a chance, go out and you can get to all of the starter points from my video. So if you haven't seen this, and there are giveaways on lots of the channels for anybody who comments on mine. At the end of next week, I'll close the contest. I'm just gonna have a little small giveaway. If you're in the U.S., it'll be a little stash prize. If you're outside the U.S., we'll figure out a gift certificate kind of thing. So this is This is Barrett, his first day of kindergarten in 2009, and this is his first day of sophomore year. And one of my very favorite educational quotes ever, "Dear Math, grow up and solve your own problems." And being a math major, that's kind of meaningful to me. This is one that was monochrome until I added this little red ladybug. But I had taken the photo, and then I go back after the fact and add ladybugs to all my Katie pages, because we've called her Katybug since she was a little bitty girl. But there she is with her driver's license. I took the single photo, I printed it naturally and the filtered version, both in 8.5 by 11. And then I cut it in 3 panels, and I used the natural panel in the middle here with the filtered on the side. I obviously have the filtered middle panel and the natural on the side, and I'm going to use that to mount on a canvas for her to hang in her room, and I'll probably embellish it differently. But I used the very first bits of my Vicki Boutin Storyteller collection. I love this vellum butterfly and this, I just love everything about the collection. It's just amazing. And the gold is my theme color here. So there's no video on that one. This one is, it's a random picture of when it snowed last year. I had printed the photo, I hadn't used it, it's been lying around, and to be honest, I don't know whether this is up or whether it's supposed to go this way. I think it may be supposed to go this way, but in any case, the point of it was that it was snow, it was a chilly day, and I used lots of different tones of blue here, so it got me 5 points for the team. This one's called Hey Olaf. I used some ink for a wood veneer house here. I used a Bramble Fox perspective geotag, and they're red here. Several different shades of red in the sequin, the enamel dots, the here, and the background paper. And somewhere in these Christmas lights. This is a cut file from Christina's Creative Cuts Club. This was the greeting as Ava came home after, 45 days in the hospital. This one there's a video of. This was Mixed Media Frenzy, and when we get further down the stack, I'll show you the original. For this one, I took a layout that I had, or a background that I'd created by dotting different colors of blue acrylic paint on with the same one sheet of paper towel. And it made a beautiful background, and I made a layout with it immediately that night. So for this one, I took a picture of the layout I made, and then I ran it through a watercolor filter, which kind of made the colors sort of run together in a more watery fashion, which is what I was going for. I turned it on its side because the original background I made was kind of like that. And then I used texture paste through a Vicki Boutin wave stencil to get this texture. And then I used her honeycomb stencil because this is Barrett and we call him B. I stamped one of her bees, and I did honeycomb, and I traced through it with a white pen. And people ask me what white pen I use. A Uniball Signo. And I also use Uniball Signo black pen for my journaling. Both are acid-free, and the white pen, in order for the ink to flow, you kind of have to get a medium point. I forget what the point is called. UM153 is the designation I have, and everything else that's on it is in Japanese. This one is a finer point for writing journaling. But I do use it to fill in where stamps don't completely go because it's the exact same black as my go-to ink, which is around here somewhere, my VersaFine Onyx Black. So this is a perfect match to that. So if your stamp doesn't completely fill in, you can fill it in with this and no one can tell. So that one there is a video for, this was Mixed Media Frenzy this past week. This is one, the very first one I made when I got my Mind the Scrap kit, and I noticed that this pink background kind of matched the walkway or the paving surface at Walt Disney World. And this is Ava's first trip to Walt Disney World in 2012. This is Katie's first trip to Disney World in 2006. They are 6 years apart in age, so they were the exact same age. They were each 4 when these trips occurred. And so it was kind of cool. This is a photo that came from a very, very old flip phone. And I kept that flip phone alive for a couple years until the technology existed to get that photo off of it and onto a more current phone. And Sprint people, that was my provider at the time, Sprint people worked really hard, and it took them a couple weeks. But I needed that photo, and I managed to recover a few others as well. And I've got that photo, a terrible resolution, but I can still see her little smile and her little hat. And Ava has worn that hat many times. I have to see if I can find a photo of her in that. But anyway, this was a pink page, and so I have several different colors of pink, including this puffy thing that says "Enjoy the little things," and these were a couple of little things. They were just so cute. This is a strange one because I had no idea what I was going to do with this. This is another one where, like that earlier one we saw of Ava, where I filtered this photo many times and printed it, printed them all, and then tried to figure out how I was going to use them. And the obvious answer might have been that to use a grid, but I decided to kind of twirl them around like that. And then that ended up leaving this circle, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with that. And it came to me, the requirement for the challenge was that I use at least 6 sequins. I said, let's make a shaker pocket. So I die cut, put one circle die inside of another circle die, and cut both the foam and the black trim around it. And then I found some packaging to make the cover, stuck the sequins in, and glued it all together. And it's many different shades of red, which are required for the challenge. This one was I used this was for challenge accepted, so there is a video. I used Chef Lou's birthday recipe, which was mixed media, orange, and leaves. And then I tried, this was, I think, my 3rd attempt at lifting this amazing layout by Rachel Millington, who's one of my teammates for the Summer Scrap Challenge. So I was doing monochrome, so I did the oranges and I filtered this photo. The leaves are actually red on this tree, and the red just really didn't look good. It made this reddish orange look red there. So I found a filter that made it more orange. I inked up this pink fabric trim there. I used a Copic marker to make this gold orange, cut a leaf, have some orange, and this was my mixed media, just this little panel of it right there. So, and there's a Bramble Fox perspective swan. This is one of many layouts I did. The very last one that I did today, or one of the second to last one, was the 4313 formula that Christina showed at the Secret Not Secret party last weekend, or weekend before last. And so this was one of the first layouts I made with it. And it's about Barrett getting a set of bases for his birthday. Again, this was, monochromatic, so I'm using nothing but blue, black, and white there. This is one where I gave up on the monochromatic theme. This was one that I actually was using her for Christina Day. There is a video for this. I used her formula and some of the same papers that she used to document this photo of us going to a restaurant. And with the news lately that such a high percentage of people who test positive for COVID had been to restaurants in the days prior to testing, I think we've made our last restaurant visit. It was nice going to a few that we felt were very safe, and we surveyed them, and we walked out of more than one when we felt that the appropriate measures weren't being taken, or that the people inside didn't have respect for the distancing and masks and so forth. So I had fun with this one. This is John and me, Katie and Ava at a great little tapas restaurant. And there's the Reese page that's all pink, all various Paige Evans collections. I think that's from Horizon, and this is from Bloom Street. This is from Truly Grateful, and this is from the new one, the Go the Scenic Route. And this pink was in the paper pad for Horizon, the solid pink. And I just love this page just because it's Reese. Here's a red page that I did for a birthday recipe at Spoonful of Scraps, and it's also it was one of the Secret Not Secret challenges as well. This is one I love. This was for Scrap Squad. It was a special Scrap Squad layout that was done in conjunction with Scrap Academy, and I do have a video on this. And I got to use that little hedgehog paper. The original was this one, where they used lots of different colors and a pretty black and white bow and the little hedgehog paper, and they stitched it. Well, I did fake stitching, but right in here it kind of looks like real bad stitching. And I found some ribbon that was black and white, and that's probably the best bow that I have ever tied in my whole life. These are some more Vicky Bouton stamped florals and leaves and lots of different tones of green. And I cut out my own thickers there. I cut paper and foam, and you can kind of see the green foam there. So, and I used the bow to cover up her pink shorts so that her little lime green, neon green shirt would go with the color scheme. This is the background that I made that I turned on its side and used for that underwater layout that I did for Barrett. This is the original, so that's the real paint there. And I added sequins and Nouveau drops and enamel dots and so forth for a photo of Daddy and the girls, again, at that restaurant. And the very first layout I made for the week was one called Blue Days, and that's the name of these flowers. And I really didn't know that I had any growing. I planted some last year, and they must have seeded a hanging basket that is kind of underneath some fig leaves, and I had to move the fig leaves out of the way to see what the blue was that was showing. And I looked down there, and the flowers aren't as full and close together as they're supposed to be. But I was able to catch this one, and this is the original photo, the unfiltered, and these three are filtered. I love that filter right there because the flower itself looks watercolored. And I had some extraneous other colors that showed up in this pattern paper, and this was a wood tone, so I colored those to keep with the various tones of blue. This was in the early days of the challenge, and I wasn't quite sure what the rules were. So those are the layouts I made. There are 29 for this week. Next week should be many fewer layouts and a much cleaner table, and I'm doing a blog post for ScrapHappy, the ScrapHappy blog, about my new obsession being organization. And I'm going to film some before and a little bit of process and some after. So I'm going to attack different areas in my scrap universe and do 3 videos, fairly short, I hope, but I've been asked to do craft room tours. Not going to happen until I get the organization done, but I don't mind showing warts and bumps if I'm getting ready to attack it. So there'll be a before, and then I'm going to have a very concentrated attack, and I'll do some review of that process. I won't film the whole process, but I'll go through some of the thought processes that led to what I ended up doing. And I'll have an after, kind of showing what the benefits are of having done it the way I just did it. And I'm going to do things like embellishments, and that's going to cover everything from enamel dots to stickers and so forth, and kind of show you how I organize those. Paper, stamps, dies, collections, project life cards, sewing supplies, and mixed media supplies, which covers just a huge, and then my huge stack of foam that I have to have. And I have to think, I have a whole new world. My room was organized for before I started filming videos, and now that I'm filming videos, I need to have certain things at hand, or I need to remember to collect them ahead of time, and there's probably going to be a little more of that. So anyway, stay tuned for all of that, and I'll see you instead of Sunday for Freeze Friday layout shares. I'll be with you next Friday. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Talk to you later. Bye.